Hi, everyone. Hello, everyone. I can't see you all. You're hiding from me. You must be worried about your hair or your clothes. It's okay if you're in your pajamas and you're sipping on wine. It's all right. I don't judge. I'm at my office here in Maitland, Florida. I am Rene Brent from Rene Brent Hypnosis, a clinical hypnotherapist and a registered nurse for 30 years. Unbelievable. People ask me, how do you use that in your hypnosis? Do you see, are you a nurse? I am a nurse. I hold on to my knowledge. I was ICU nurse, ER nurse, trauma nurse, recovery room. And I do a lot of clinical hypnotherapy. I'm trained in clinical hypnotherapy, which really is clinical, is really how our thoughts really affect our physical body. And if we learn to listen to our body, which I've talked before, if you follow any of my work, is really key to feeling calmer, to feeling in control in the driver's seat, is to start listening to your physical body. So I may have someone who comes in for chronic migraines and it's debilitating. True story, I had a guy who had fallen at work 15 years before and had a debilitating migraines ever since. But the physicians couldn't find any reason for the migraines. So he just suffered and he just went about his day. And I said to him, so he really was tired of, he had gone through addiction with opiates, and then he had come down and he was trying to find alternative ways. So he found his way to me. His doctor referred him to me as a clinical hypnotherapist, as a nurse. And well, first thing I asked him was, so what do you do when you have a headache? And he said, I go into a dark room and my family leaves me alone and I watch old John Wayne movies. Interesting. I said, okay, great. So let me have you do this. When you go home, till I see you next time, I want you, without a headache, to tell your family, I'm going in the room, I want you to leave me alone, and I'm going to watch a John Wayne movie. What do you think happened when I had him do that? His migraines that he had for 15 years went down by 50%, 50%, because he was giving himself the opportunity to relax, to quiet, to be in a space by himself. He set a boundary, but he was doing it with a headache. When he gave himself permission to set this boundary away from his family without a headache, his symptoms diminished by 50%. The other thing that I did with him was release the trauma of the fall. He fell off a roof 25 feet and landed on his back. And that was traumatic for him. He could still close his eyes and see himself, feel himself falling. So one of the other things that I did as a clinical hypnotherapist was help his mind release the connection to the memory. We can't change what has happened. We can't change what is happening with COVID-19. We can't change the fact that 50 million people are out of work in this country alone. But we can change our neurological connection to it, because when we embed it neurologically, then it keeps replaying. It's like the movie that won't stop playing. It keeps playing and it keeps playing. And whenever we see anything that looks like that, we go, and our supercomputer of our subconscious mind starts opening up files. And now we're spinning in all the things that remind us even of that. And when I worked with him in a subconscious state, hypnosis is only a change in a brainwave, very natural state. I'm not in charge. But when I worked with him to release the trauma of the memory, guess what happened? He went down another 25%. So this guy for 15 years who had headaches, debilitating, had an opiate addiction secondary to this, did some inner work, set some boundaries, understood how his brain, his thoughts, his neurons, his nervous system was affecting his physical body, and he changed. And that's the honor of the work that I do in clinical hypnotherapy as a nurse and a hypnotherapist. So I get very honored every time a psychiatrist or a therapist or a physician or a dentist sends me a client who's having physical issues that they don't know what's happening. And I help them set boundaries and really understand how the mind is so affecting our physical being. Right now with COVID, and maybe some of you are experiencing some physical stuff going on for you that you hadn't experienced before just 6 weeks ago. And what's happening is we have thoughts that spin, and then that creates chemistry. And that chemistry is connected into our physical body. We feel it. That's what makes it a feeling. Feel the sensation of emotion, energy, and motion. So if we learn to listen to our body and learn some really effective ways to manage that, then you can begin to release yourself from the fear or the worry or the concern or the, whatever's going on for you. When you slow down the chemistry of our subconscious autopilot, then you can change your physical sensations of what's going on for you. Again, we can't change the memory. Right now, I'm working with many, many clients who are their nervous system is a wreck. People who've never had physical symptoms, who've never had anxiety. I mean, I'm working with one, she's a Zen master, like she's like a yogi, but she just about pushing it down. She took on all the worries of the world, and she woke up one day and was in a physical storm. Her heart rate was racing. She wasn't comfortable in her skin. She wasn't sleeping. She was losing weight. She was in a chemical storm because she didn't get control or set boundaries around what was happening in the world, in our country, in our state, in our town, in our city, in our homes. We have to set boundaries here right now. We cannot solve the problem of the world. I know this. The first few weeks of this, I am like a champion when it comes to sleeping. Like, I'm a professional. My guy can ask me a question. I can answer it. I can ask him a question. And by the time he answers it back, I'm out. Sleep. It's incredible. It's a gift. I love it. But the first 2 weeks I wasn't sleeping. I'm like, oh shit. Like, what's going on here? I better get a hold of this, because I knew the chemistry that was starting to spin. So I increased my movement in the sense of walking, exercising, working out with my trainer. Started increasing my water intake. That's really, really, really important. The hormones of stress will dehydrate you. Yes, Karen, you go get a glass of water and drink it right now. There you go. Yay, amen, sister. Everyone take a drink of water. Because I don't know if you guys have know this. You may know this. You could feel it maybe in your own bodies. Research shows when you're even slightly dehydrated, it can affect your mood. It can affect how comfortable you are in your physical body. And we don't need that right now. We need to be all, we're charging on all cylinders here. So increasing your water will really help you with physical illnesses, there you go, good, with stress and your ability to manage it. So if you want to just start managing your physicality of the chemistry, hydration is a great way to do that. I really understood this once. I was looking up hydration. This is, I love studying the mind and the body. This is what I do, right? This is how I help my clients. And I saw a picture of twins. They were like, I don't know, around my age. I'm 57. So they're around my age. And one was like, have you ever seen people your age and like, geez, I hope I don't look like that. Like, she was like really wrinkled and dry and just looked aged, really aged. And then her sister was next to her, identical twins. One did not drink enough water, and the other one drank a lot of water. And the difference in their age looking was probably 15 years. It's pretty amazing. You can look up hydration and see people who've just only increased water after 30 days, and they look about 10 years younger, because it's just water. We're made of water. So if we're not drinking water, it's a real problem for you. And if you're having a hard time sleeping, I want you to just increase your water intake. The first couple days when you do it, you're going to pee a lot. Okay, we can pee a lot. You're at home, you can do it. But just just try that out. So let me talk about boundaries. Of course, this is interactive. If any of you guys have questions, please type them in. I'll be watching the chat box, and I'm happy to cover any of it for you. And we can make sure that you get what you need here today. But I'm really talking about boundaries and relationships. And I am talking about relationships with family, and we'll discuss that. But what is your relationship now? The most important relationship that you can have ever in your life is with yourself. So how are you doing in that relationship department with yourself, right? Because I have to tell you, if you're looking outside of you to feel secure and confident, I'm seeing this with many of my clients right now, whose identity, whose sense of self, whose confidence was based on their job or how much money they were bringing in or what they had or connection to other people. It was outside of them. And now that that's kind of been pulled away, people are really struggling and their physical body is speaking to them. So where does your confidence lie? How are you feeling about yourself and through all this experience? Because there are no doubt that we've all been pushed out of our comfort zone and we're forced to look at ourselves. The quietness of the world right now is allowing us, a gift in my opinion, a curse in many others, is that we're allowed to hear how we think. We're allowed to hear what we say to ourselves. We're allowed to see what kind of relationships we not only have with ourselves, but our family. Another thing I'm seeing besides the physicality of these storms that people are running through, and by the way, I've been working with this woman. I normally don't see people every week. I've been working with her for the last 3 weeks. She's doing great because she's just spending time within. All the answers she needed was within, and she's setting boundaries around herself in regards to what she's taking in, what news she's taking in, what she's allowing out. It's been fascinating. And she's sleeping now and she's eating again and she's feeling much better in her own skin. And it takes some time, but she got on top of it and she understood it. So how are you feeling physically? What are you hearing in your own mind about yourself, about your capabilities, about how you're managing? If it's all negative and that's all you're hearing, man, you have an internal bully, right? What would you do if you have children and you just, someone followed your kid around and just talked bad about them all day? You can't do that. Why are you doing that? God, you're such a loser. You're not capable. You're so stupid. Look at that body. Oh my God. Can you imagine that? You allowing that to happen to one of your children? Hell no. You wouldn't do it. So why are you allowing? Because I have to tell you, we're adults. I kind of consider myself a sort of adult. But you know who's listening? Your inner child. That little girl or boy within you is listening to the bully all day long and has probably been listening to that bully for your entire life. Would you allow that for your own children? No. Why are you allowing that for your inner child, for your little girl? It's hard. It's hard. And the chemistry that starts up is that chemical storm that could be keeping you awake at night, that could causing weight gain, that could be keeping you distant from relationships or close relationships, right? What I help people do and what I want you to do is start learning to go in. The answers are within. And you cannot do it in a stressed out state. You must learn to calm the body down and the mind down. So that's why I'm really happy that you're here today to listen to a little bit. We'll do a meditation where, by the way, we're going to go meet our little girls, little boys. I don't know if there's any boys in here. But if there are, you can go talk to him. But it's really important to shift the relationship with yourself by connecting, understanding and awareness of what you're hearing every day, but also where that little girl within is. Is she stuck in a bad time period? Is she feel alone and lost? There's 3 ego states: inner child, inner critic. That's the bully, right? Sometimes we call it the inner parent. It's a parent ego. So if it sounds like your mama or your dad, you got it naturally, right? And it starts talking to you the way you heard or where it felt safe or familiar. And adult ego, right? Which is most of us manage and deal with. So we can't ignore the inner child. And she's listening to everything that you were saying. So one of the things that I have is I love to connect people to, which is called higher self, higher perspective, which is that inner voice that knows that you're okay, that you hear every once in a while through the bully that says, no, you got this. It's okay. You're all right now. We're okay. We're going to make it. That's the voice that I want you to connect to. That's the voice when I have a client that I connect into that higher perspective. In my clients, I tell them, connect to the part that made the appointment to come in here today to make change, real effective change. But I want you to hear the voice that you hear every once in a while that connects. Connect to that higher self. I do have a free meditation on practicehappynow.com that is where you can just put in your email and get 2 free meditations. One's for higher self. So if you have an internal bully that's bullying you, the adult, and you, that inner child, please go and check it out. And it's free. You just go and higher self. And the other one that's there that you'll get a link to is sleep. So if you learn to hear the higher perspective, if you shift, you go in and shift that internal voice from bully to supporter. What if that voice just every once in a while told you all the great things that you're doing? Like, look at you, man. You're managing the house, all the family's home. Somehow we got 2 more dogs. I mean, I don't know, whatever's going on for you, you're doing it. You made it through every one of these 50 something days. Be proud of yourself. Hear that internal voice. Be nice to you. Connect to the part of you that knows that you're worthy, that knows that you're capable and good. The part of you that can look at life from a distance and be grateful for all the experience that you've had because it got you right here. I don't know if you guys know my story. Some of you do, some of you don't. I was raised in Illinois. I had an alcoholic mother, 6 kids, single, and it was chaos, and she made bad decisions. And I spent most of my life hiding in a closet just with this internal awareness that it's not you, it's them. I spent my whole life telling myself, it's not you, it's them. I knew somehow this gift from God, or whatever you want to call it, that I was going to be okay. I just had to move through this experience. And that was a blessing to me. It helped me get through it. There were some consequences that I had to work through as an adult because of that I carried with me, that I really woke up to after my divorce 10 years ago. But it was really amazing for me to understand how I was carrying on where the chaos left. And I didn't have to carry that anymore. That I could be nice to the little girl. She could come out of the closet and we could have an incredible life together. And I want to encourage you. And the only way I did that was by doing inner work and understanding my relationship with myself. And that's what I want you to do. Spend some time this next week or so just really going in and with understanding how you're talking to yourself. Connect to your higher self. Because if you're not connecting here, you're not going to be connecting out. When I understood that I had to protect I knew that I was the only one that was good. I was the only one that was going to take care of myself when I was young. I lied about, I was 5'10" when I was 12. So I lied about my age when I was 12 years old so I could get a part-time job busing at a truck stop, right? Whew, I was sassy though. Nobody messed with me. I took care of myself because I knew I had to make money. I had to get what I needed to get. And I actually paid for my own private school for 2 years in high school. I made my own payments and I worked because I knew I had to do it. But a consequence of that was I had a closed heart. I didn't cry all my tears. I didn't feel all my pain, but I didn't laugh all my laughter. Although I use humor in my life, if you know me for long enough, everything's on the funny bone. I make everything humor. I have to, but I wasn't joyful. I couldn't find joy. When you're closing off, it's like you're protecting and you have this bubble around you. So ask yourself, is your heart open or is your heart closed? Are you protecting or are you living in trust? Are you living in fear or are you living in love? What are you saying? What's your relationship with yourself and all yourselves from your entire life all the way back to your inner child? Let me tell you, when people understand this in my office and the work that I do, life changes. For me, after my divorce, I understood. I opened my heart. I allowed people to come in and see my truth. I allowed a partner to come in who gives to me every day, and I allow it and I feel comfortable. I'm a giver. I gave to everybody else. That's for sure. I gave to everybody else. I volunteered. I was a nurse. I took care of my kid, you know, all of it. And I know a lot of you on this call are that, right? I knew. And that was good for me. It helped me in the moments. But I understood that I had to give to myself first and then from there come out and shift my relationship. And I thought I was strong when I took care of everyone else. There is such strength in opening your heart and trusting yourself, disconnecting from the past, and allowing people in to see you, to help you. There's nothing like it. This is where joy lives. This is where you change the relationship with yourself. And I had a great relationship with my kids growing up. I used humor. I was there for them. We were tight. If you know my family at all, you know my kids. Like, oh, God, I love those kids. But when I opened my heart, my relationship with my children even got better because I allowed them to see me as a human being, not just a projection of who I thought I should be for them. And when they saw that, I trusted them, they trusted me, and I dropped the bubble around that full connection, that heart to heart with them. And so I want to ask you, what's your relationship with not only yourself, but your family, your spouse, your partner? Is there something that you're just not comfortable allowing them in? That's not about them. It's about you. That's about you. That's about your relationship with yourself and your own fear. What's your relationship like with your kids? These are hard questions, not meant to be answered now, but food for thought as you move forward and awareness, because the key to change is being aware of it. You cannot change something if you're not aware of it. And your answers for all of it are inside in an altered brainwave, like meditation or just quiet. So what's your relationship with your kids? What's your relationship with your parents? Because I have to tell you, if buttons are being pushed with your parents, aging parents, if you're lucky enough to have them, it's not the adult. It's the inner child that you're beating up every day as the bully, internal language. And you're holding on to every time your parent said something like that to you. And you're just, or your every issue or every hurt that you've ever had, or your disappointment that they weren't who you thought they should be. That's on you. When you accept them for where they are, not where you want them to be, when you accept people for who they are, then it shifts your relationship with yourself and with them. I hope that makes sense to all of you. It's really important to do change work to understand, because how people are treating you in your life is because you allowed it, because you have somewhere within false beliefs that you're not worthy, that you're unlovable, that you're not capable, you're not smart. And when we hold false beliefs based on our past experience in our subconscious mind, that's the lens you have, you're filtering. So if you believe in your heart that you're unlovable or that you're ugly, and your husband who loves you, has been with you, says, you are so beautiful. And you start with, ugh, look at this wrinkle, look at this ass, blah, 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 blah. You're not hearing because it's filtering through your belief, and your subconscious is not going to believe it. Your subconscious wants to be right. So the most important thing is understand what beliefs you're filtering through, because you're seeing through that lens every day, and you're not able to hear your loved ones tell you that they love you and feel it completely. You have that barrier. When you shift that and you open up and you open your heart and you see yourself through your kids' eyes, it's amazing. I'm tearing up because I was just thinking of a moment with my daughter who struggled. She struggled in her life. And when I let her see me, she let me see her. Do you understand? And without judgment, with unconditional love. So that's what's waiting for you. When I understood that I was lovable, that I was enough, that I was a good mom, I wasn't responsible for their challenges, then Carol says she wants to give me a hug. I understand. If you've ever heard me speak, I always at some point cry. So if you're crying, it's just something that happens when I speak. But because I come from the heart. And I want you, all of you, to have that moment when you can see yourself through your child's eyes, when you can see through yourself through your husband's eyes. He doesn't see you aging. He's connecting to that little girl. He's seeing the beauty. He's seeing the love. So if you're not able to hear it or see it or feel it, then that's on you. And that's your relationship with yourself. So shift that. Set boundaries in your life for change, and be brave enough to go within and understand your relationship with yourself. Set boundaries for yourself. Understand your beliefs about yourself. This is crucial for change, for love. And this is a great opportunity for all of us to do it. Because why? You've already been pushed out of your comfort zone, right? The facade of certainty has been stripped away from all of us. So if you're living in that already, why not make changes for yourself in your relationship? For yourself. I hope that makes sense to anybody. If anyone has any questions, go ahead and filter that. But if you change the relationship with yourself, you change relationship with your kids, your spouse, your family, your parents, the world, your community, all of it, it begins to change. And I lived 48 years with a closed heart, and I'm grateful every day now that I had the opportunity through a challenging time, a divorce, to open my heart and see myself through another lens, see the world through another lens, and have the opportunity to help people do that every day. It's incredible. And I want you guys to challenge yourself to do that. So listen to your body, because as you move through this, let me just say, Jill, if your child doesn't want to see you cry, then that's a conversation, right? So they don't want to see you cry if you're beating yourself up. That's hard for them, right? Children don't want to hear you say that you're awful to yourself or I'm a terrible mom. Because I don't know why I'm echoing now all of a sudden. Someone's got, can you mute everybody? Yeah. Thank you. Because when they're half of your DNA. So if you're beating yourself up, you're telling them half of them is worthless, not worthy, not good. You're telling them negativity about themselves, but also you're telling them their perception of you is wrong. They're not going to want to see that. But if you have a heart and you tell them, I'm working on this, right? The best thing that I did was tell my kids that each moment of their lives, everything that I've done, I was doing the best that I could. And I'm sorry if I hurt them in any way. But I'm working on my inner child, and I want to help them work on their inner child and move to this authentic relationship. So boundaries are important, Jill. If your child is not ready for that, you cannot push them for them, right? But have a feeling. So what about me crying makes you uncomfortable? That's the conversation. You know how to have real conversations with yourself or others in your life? If your husband says something to you and you go off, you think I'm a terrible person, you don't love me, you know that you filter through. So you say to them, this is what I heard you say. I heard you say that I'm unlovable. And now you can have a conversation about what's really going on. If you say something to your child and they have a reaction and they go from 0 to 60, ask them, what did you hear me say? Because what we're hearing, what people are saying is not what people are hearing. Every person, unless they've done their own work, is moving through their false beliefs, and it's changing their perception of what is said. So to be able to say this, what did you hear me say, starts another layer, and then another layer, and then next time you talk, you'll go to another layer. So it's really about working with someone where they're at, not where you want them to be. And if someone sets a boundary, I've had enough, right? Then that's okay. You do that. I hope we can have that conversation again sometime. So it's really about chunking it down. You don't have to just knock all the blocks off at once. That never feels safe. But just trust yourself. Trust yourself to do that. Excellent. So set boundaries with yourself and with others. If your boundary right now, while you're doing inner work or while you're going through all of this, is that, you know what, they say we can go or we can meet, I'm just not ready for that. Don't do it, right? I'm working with other hypnotherapists. I mentor a lot of hypnotherapists all over the country. Some are like, I'm not ready to see clients in-house. I'm like, well, don't. Because if you come at this with fear, you're not going to be there for your client. You can't be dealing with your own fear if you're dealing with something else. So set your boundaries about what's going to work for you. Just like my guy who I said, go into the dark room, watch a John Wayne movie. It diminished his headaches by 50% because he gave himself permission to be away from his family. Smokers, I give smokers often, I don't know if you know this, if you're a smoker or not, I don't judge it, but some smokers will get up from a restaurant to go outside and smoke, or they'll take a break and they'll go smoke. Why? It's a secondary gain for smoking is that you give yourself a boundary of time and space. Also, smokers do breathe. Nobody takes a deeper breath than a smoker and exhale. It's the breath that calms them. The nicotine is a stimulant. So it's the breath of smokers. But also, once I help them release the secondary gain of taking a break, giving them permission to go and take a break from family, to go outside from at work, to go for a little walk, to go into a room by themselves, then the behaviors stop. So give yourself the opportunity to understand what boundaries you need in your life and respect the boundaries of your family, of your children. It's hard for them right now. I'm dealing with a lot of children, especially between, well, seniors for sure, that are doing, but 14 to 18 right now, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff that's showing up for people because there's no mask from school. Parents are there, they see them, they're interacting, and woo, it's good, but it's hard. It's hard. Thank you. Michal said, non-judgment. I come from no judgment. I really do. There's not much that somebody can say to me that I haven't experienced or had someone experience in my life. For sure. I've been through a lot of experiences and, addiction. I had 2 siblings that died from alcohol and drug abuse at 52, both of them. So let me tell you, I was really grateful in my life that I didn't have that. I didn't experience that. But I have people very close to me that have. But I don't judge it. I know it's a symptom of them just trying to feel better, to move away from emotions and event. And their little child within, I want what I want, what I want it. I want more and more and more, right? I want drugs. I want alcohol. I want, porn. That's an inner child. I want what I want when I want it. So if you learn to talk to your inner child and say, listen, I love you. You're safe. Let's move you out of that experience and move you forward with love. Right? We're going to do that today. You're going to talk to your inner child today in a few minutes. Hang on. But when you connect to your inner child, you stop some of the behaviors. Because when you connect and you reparent yourself, my mom was not meant to be a mother. She sucked. But you know what? When I forgave her, when I moved into acceptance, mute again, Carol. When I moved into acceptance of her and I forgave her and I apologized for anything I did, it changed my world. And I did that right before she died of lung cancer. And I had that blessing to do that. And I could take myself out of that pain of having a mother who was incapable because she had so much pain from her childhood. So we really must understand how we're talking to ourselves, our relationship with our inner child, and reparent. When I got to move in hypnosis, I remember going in and seeing my little girl in a closet and pulling her. I'm so emotional today. Oh my gosh. But it's all good. Tears are clearing, their clarity, their true emotion. It's beautiful. So don't think that I'm like a mess. I'm really just expressing such love here. Now, when I went in a hypnosis and I imagined picking up my little girl out of the closet, taking her out of that house of chaos, showing her love, helping her understand that she was enough, that she was wanted and loved, and moved her through her life, in my mind, I left all of that shit behind. Now it's like I'm on a side of a pond, and I can see my childhood over there, but that emotional bridge that I used to have, because whenever I thought about something in my childhood, bam, I was in it like I was reliving it. But when you can change the emotional connection to that, and now I can just see my childhood from there and see it from a different perspective of clarity, of love, of awareness. I have a lot of compassion for my mom. I have a lot of compassion for my siblings that were struggling so much that they just couldn't be in this world. That's hard. But I don't have to take it on for them. I knew it was their journey. So there's an opportunity to shift how your relationship with yourself, your inner child, reparent your inner child, move towards forgiveness. I have a whole chapter in my book, How Big Is Your Butt, called Let's Talk About the F Word, which is forgiveness, because healing is not for anyone else. When I forgive my mom, it wasn't really for her. I wanted her to have that and know that before she died, but it wasn't about her. It was about me and taking back my power and being here. And all of you can do that too, no matter what happens. And I see people who had tragedy, who had trauma after trauma that you can't even imagine, release it and let it go and sit on the other side of the pond and let go of the emotional bridge. So set boundaries for yourself. I have taught you some techniques. I want you to listen to your body, because your physical body, remember that's that chemistry storm, is really just a warning sign that lets you know, even though you're not aware of it, something is spinning there. If you feel that tension in your gut or your thing, and one of the quickest ways to do that is to breathe. Because when we're in fear, which most of that is, we're not trusting ourselves. When you're in fear, most of us hold our breath. We want to pretend like, oh my God, just let that go away. It's over here. No, I don't see it. I don't feel it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to remember it. When you do that, you're suppressing. And when you're suppressing, it's growing, but you're feeling the warning sign. So if you breathe, full breath in, exhale. One thing that I have people do is relax your tongue. Go ahead and do it. Relax your tongue. You're slowing down the language centers. If you have a bully within, go ahead and do that. Relax your tongue. We'll review that. I did this last time. Relax your jaw. If any of you have questions, you can go to reneebrandhypnosis.com and book a 15-minute call with you. I'd love to chat with you always. So just relax your tongue, relax your jaw. And now you're going to breathe full in, full breath in, and exhale. Now you're sending a different signal to your body. You're communicating in a new way. You're getting more oxygen to your brain, but also you're saying, okay, I got this. You're sending a signal to your nervous system to rest, digest, to relax, and breathe. When you do that, jaw, tongue, breathe, you're putting yourself into a slower brainwave. Now you have access to all this beautiful information. So you can learn to talk to yourself different. You can let that higher self, that higher perspective come in and talk to you. And you can make the changes that you want and disconnect from the emotional bridge of the past and just look at it from this new lens, this new perspective of beliefs and things. Thank you, Sharon. Okay, any questions before we go on? Because I think we're ready to move on to a meditation. I like something which is pause to be present. Most of us, if we're worried about the past, or we're worried about the future, or we're living in all this chaos, you are not present in your life. When you're not present with your life, you're not in a positive relationship with yourself and really people around you. I was on a call with someone the other day about some business. I'm doing a lot of this kind of stuff all over, and I love it. And we were having a formatting conversation, and she's got little ones. And I'm on the conversation, she's in the middle of a sentence, and her little 3-year-old came up and started tugging on her. And she stopped and she said, "Hi, honey, how you doing?" And "Okay, go get that toy. Mommy will be done in a minute." And the little 3-year-old went off. And I congratulated her. I said, "That is amazing, because you were present, you listened to that child, and they got what they wanted, and off they went." Your subconscious is very much like the 3-year-old. If you ignore it, it's going to get louder and have a tantrum. If you just are present with what's going on physically and start listening to your body, then you can make the changes and listen to your inner child. I hope that makes sense to you guys. If not, please just add a comment or something. So pause to be present. You must be present. A good way to pause is this alpha sequence that I just taught you with your jaw and your throat and breathing and breath. If you're not present, or your husband's talking to you and he's like, "You're not listening to me," you're not there. And you're pushing some of his buttons about what he believes about himself or herself. Understand? So if you're not listening and your mind is spinning, relax your tongue, your jaw, and breathe. Pause to be present, and your relationships will change in your life. All right. Good. We're going to move on now. Woo, that time goes by quick. So we're going to do a meditation today. I'm going to connect you to your inner child. It's okay. She's safe. She's ready. This can be emotional, but I just want you to lean into it and connect to her or him in a beautiful way. And you're not going to go to a bad memory. You're just going to meet her on a little path. So don't worry. She won't take you anywhere you don't want to go. Your mind won't take you anywhere you don't want to go. But I just want you to connect to her today so you can start, or him, so you can start visiting and connecting. I had to go in and see my child in that closet for a little bit before I could bring her out and do the experience that I talked about. So I want to introduce you to your inner child. You may see her. It may look like a picture that your parents have on their wall, from 3rd grade. That's okay. You may have a thought of her. I am not visual. But your mind processes it the same. Even if you have the intention that you want to connect to your inner child, you'll do that. You may feel some emotions come up, and trust that. If your mind is busy, it's okay. Just ask it to step aside for you and go from there. All right. I want everyone to take a little sip of water. We're hydrating, right? Hydration good? Yeah. All right. Close your eyes. And let's just take a breath. Get comfortable. Take a breath in. Just clear away the conversation. Just send that another breath in. Just send that relaxation through your body. Trust that you can handle whatever comes your way. Now, as your eyes are closed, I want you to do this alpha sequence. I want you to know that you can be your inner hypnotist. You don't need me. Just relax your tongue. When you relax your tongue, you're going to slow down all that inner dialogue. Just relax your tongue, relax your jaw. There's a cranial nerve that moves down and through. Now you're releasing any tension. Relax your tongue and jaw. Take a full breath in. As you exhale, relax. Good. All the way to the bottom, even deeper than you think you can get. Full breath in. Exhale. And relax. Good. Relaxing your tongue and your jaw. Good. Breathe in, full breath in. Almost like you can breathe in relaxation and exhale tension. Just letting it go. You're brain hacking. You're sending a different message to your internal dialogue, to your nervous system. Relax. Good. Now, one thing that I love to do when I feel like my body's relaxed enough, I do this many, many times in a day, is imagine I can look up into my mind's eye, into that space in my head. As I'm looking up and expanding in front of me, all the way to the periphery, open up and expand all the way around this space. This is where you can pause to be present. This is where you can gain clarity in this space. Relax and breathe. Good. This is where you can ask yourself, what's my next small step? This is where you can ask that internal bully to just, please be my friend. Please talk to me. Remind me of what I'm doing right, maybe a couple times a day. Be my cheerleader. You're the only one that can make these changes. You're the only one that can shift this. And do it in this more relaxed state. Just opens up your heart. It opens up your subconscious, your supercomputer. Expand and allow. Good. Now put all your attention on your eyelids. Make them so very heavy, so relaxed. They feel as if they just do not want to work. Imagine that for now, those eyelids are so heavy that you just can't be bothered with opening them. If you'd like to go even deeper, you can pretend. Simply pretend if you try to open your eyes, you find they just do not want to work. When you're convinced they're comfortably closed down, you can stop trying. Just relax them even more. And you're going to send this wave of relaxation down through your whole body. Imagine head to toes, skin to bones. Relaxing with every breath, with every sound. Giving yourself that space to just relax. Good. It doesn't take much. If there's any part of your mind that's in the way today, just ask it to step aside, sit next to you, hold space for you. Good. Now, I want you to relax your body even more. So I want you to imagine that you feel almost like the warmth of the sun shining on your face and your body. As it soaks in, it's going to relax and release any tension that you may be holding on to. So imagine this beautiful energy just soaking into your forehead, in your eyes, behind your eyes. Imagine it going to any part of your mind that just needs to settle down, that you want to quiet. As you move this energy, you're also changing your relationship with yourself because you're letting your deep inner mind know, I'm in charge. Things are changing. And right now we're releasing tension. Let it move down your jaw, your tongue, your throat, the back of your head and neck. Let this move through. I encourage you to do this slowly, only because sometimes the mind and the muscles need to connect. Let it move through shoulders. It's safe to relax now. Your arms, your elbows, your forearms, hands, fingertips. Imagine that you can open up your fingers, uncork them, and let this energy move from your brain, through your brain, out your fingers. And imagine right here you can let go of anything that's in the way of you knowing that you're enough, that you are good and worthy, loved and lovable and loving. Imagine that you could just let go of any patterns, beliefs, behaviors that aren't serving you. Shifting your relationship with yourself. You don't have to control this, just allow it. Just the thought of, oh, I'm sending this away, will allow your mind to help you with that. It's remarkable how powerful your mind is when you know how to use it. Let it flow. Also letting go of any blocks that you may or may not be aware of. Let that continue to flow, infinite energy moving through. Excuse me, and let it move down now into your chest. I love to have this energy when I breathe in and out, move through my heart. Imagine it's just like a leaf blower just blowing out anything that's in the way of you understanding your truth, of seeing yourself through your loved one's eyes. Just imagine. Give yourself permission to let it go. Release it. Let it move down your spine now, your upper, middle, lower back, every muscle, nerve, fiber, just relaxing, releasing and letting go. With every inhale, moving into all your internal organs, through your stomach, your digestive system. You can imagine that you can dial down your appetite or move up your appetite depending on what's going on for you under stress. The mind is listening. You're connected. You're in this supercomputer. You have control of what you're programming here. Your deep inner mind is being instructed to help you move forward with confidence and high self-esteem, understanding your truth, that your best is good enough. And there are areas you want to improve. You'll do that from this place of self-love and self-care in this new relationship with yourself. Let this energy move down into your hips and your legs, your knees, behind your knees, shins, calves, feet and toes. Imagining, again, uncorking your toes. And let this energy move through your entire body, almost like this clearing of anything that's blocking you, that's in your way. It may be hard to imagine at first, but just keep going. Out your fingers, out your toes, letting it go. And you can do this anytime. The imagination is the key to making change, trusting yourself. This is why kids are so beautiful and open. They imagine it and it's there. Here's a big secret. We don't lose that when we're older. We just forget. Imagine that beautiful energy is transformed, coming back into your fingers, back into your toes. And I want you to imagine that it's surrounding you in a beautiful bubble or a cocoon. And make it a color that feels very safe to you. In just a moment, I'm going to count to 3. And you're going to imagine or sense or have the intention that this bubble is going to take you on a journey somewhere beautiful that only you can get to. 1, imagine, sense that you're lifting and rising. 2, feeling safe and secure, curious about what's going to happen. 3, moving through space, time, darkness. Maybe you see lights. Maybe you have some awarenesses. Trust what comes up for you. Everything I'm doing is a pencil sketch. Your mind will help you in its own way. Leaving anything that's in your way of feeling free and capable and curious. Just let it fly past you. Maybe you can feel a breeze in your face. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to count to 3 to 1. And you're going to be in a very special place where only you can go. 3, dropping down. 2, getting a sense of a pathway, stairs. And 1, feet on the ground. With every breath, imagine in front of you is a beautiful forest pathway. And you look at the stairs, there are 10 steps in front of you. Notice, are they marble or stone or wood? Notice the color of the sky, the freshness of the air. Perhaps you can hear the sound of birds or trees. Be there to see what you see, to feel what you feel, and to hear what you hear. Now, to relax you even more now, I'm going to count from 10 down to 1. Each step that you take down, you'll become even more relaxed. By the time we get to the number 1, you'll be on that pathway, far more deeply relaxed. You can count along or listen to my words. With each number, you'll become more and more relaxed. 10, stepping down, down, down. 9, relax, relax, relax. Body's relaxing, mind's relaxing. Thoughts slowing down. Good. 8 and 7, deeper relax. Deeper and deeper. 6, more relaxed. With every adjustment, with every movement, with every sound, more relaxed. 6 and 5, down, down. Permission to just let go. There's not a wrong or right way to do this, just allow. Trust what's coming up for you. Each time you do it, it gets easier, more powerful. 4 and 3, deeper now. Deeper. 2, relax. 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 And 1, stepping down. Down. Start walking on the pathway. Perhaps you can feel your feet on leaves or pine needles or dirt. Just keep walking. Take it in. Imagine. It could be whatever you want. Fall colors, spring, summer, winter. Just be there. Pause to be present. Now, something very interesting. As you come around a corner, you see someone running towards you. A child. A little girl or a little boy. Just hold on. Wait. I want you to see her coming to you. See him coming to you. And as you see that child so happy to see you, who's been waiting for so long, this is your inner child who's been waiting and hoping that you'll come. So just imagine that you can just sit down on the ground or kneel down and just let that inner child come to you in the way that she wants or he wants. Maybe they run into your arms, or maybe they're shy, or maybe they're kind of pissed off. They've been waiting a long time. That's okay. Trust what comes up for you. But you're holding space for this inner child. And you accept this child where she or he is. And you just connect. Just let that inner child know that you're there for them, that you see them. And ask that child, what do you need from me right now? It might be love, it might be a hug. But just imagine that you can give that inner child what they need right now. Have that inner child step into that feeling or emotion or thought fully and completely as they can conceive of it. When they get there, you'll know. You might feel some ease. Let this little inner child know that they're not alone. They may have felt alone, but they're not alone because you're there, that you got her back, that you're there, and that you're paying attention now. Have that conversation with that inner child as I'm silent for a moment. This is about connection. This is about truth. Your inner child needs you, has been waiting for you. So ask her or him, what else do you need from me right now? Maybe it's confidence, security, understanding. Go ahead. Trust what comes up as you ask her or him. And notice in your own body as you connect to your inner child how things are shifting for you. If you're having any trouble with this, it's okay. I promise you, your deep inner mind's listening and connecting, and you're shifting your relationship with yourself. Now, I want you to ask your inner child one word for how you're feeling right now. And they may say something like better, or happy, or safe. Trust. One word for how they're feeling. And then ask your inner child, what do you need to feel even better than that? Trust what comes up for you. Good. Know that you can always come back. I want you to note the age of your inner child. Maybe 5, maybe 6, maybe 9. But trust that. You're going to remember that number when you come out of the state. It's very important for you to remember that number. But let that inner child know that you're going to be back. That this child, ask this child, will you let me be the adult when I need to be the adult? And I promise I will connect to you and play with you and have some fun. See if you can make that contract with that inner child. And if you make the contract, you have to follow through. We don't want our inner children to have tantrums. That's not fun, physically or emotionally. It keeps us separate from ourselves and others. One last question. I want you to ask your inner child, are you proud of the adult I have become? Listen to the answer. Trust whatever comes up for you. This is awareness. This is an opportunity for you to shift, and because what that inner child feels about you is what you feel about yourself, that you're filtering through every day. So let that inner child know that you're aware, that you're working on you, that you're there for her or him, and you'll come back to visit. Now, if your inner child wants to go for a walk, I want you to imagine that you can grab their hand and you walk from there back to the present day, but you're growing them up with this feeling of loved and connected. If they need to move out of that time period, go ahead and do that now. Grab their hand and move them forward, connected to you, understanding that you have her or his back, that they're enough as they are. You're not that past experience. You're not that label. You're not the opinion of others. You are capable and loved and loving and lovable. And you never walk alone. You begin to see yourself every day through a different perspective. Now, in just a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 5 to bring you back to this time period, to this body. But you'll have this connection with your inner child. Even if it wasn't easy, it's okay. This is important work. You'll come back at the count of 5, You'll have that connection. You'll have the awareness, already knowing. Neurologically, emotionally, physically, you're shifting your relationship with yourself. 1, coming back more and more the sound of my voice. 2, clear-headed about your ability to move forward step by step. Setting boundaries, feeling safe, but seeing yourself through others' eyes. 3, rested and refreshed from this entire session. You can return to that inner child anytime. 4, beautiful energy. It's moving through your body, calm, but yet invigorating. And when you're ready on number 5, eyes open back here to your regular waking consciousness. Welcome back, everyone.